It's time to live your stronger life. Hey, I'm Sammy, physio coach and nutritionist, and your hype girl for creating your stronger life. Here, we ditch the quick fixes and build real strength inside and out. So whether you're here to tone up, drop the body fat, build muscle, mental resilience, or ditch the diet culture, or just feel bloody good in your skin, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. Hey fam, I hope you're all having an amazing day. In this episode, we are going to be diving into one of the biggest questions I get asked all the time. How do I know if I'm actually training hard enough to get results? Because here's the truth. Most people think that they're pushing themselves hard and they're training properly. And in reality, they're leaving a lot of progress on the table. Their training performance is horrendous to watch and they're just not getting any results. But they're like, I lift weights. I don't know why I'm not getting any stronger. I'm not seeing any tone or definition. And I'm like, it's because you're not training properly. So let's break it down. Why is training hard enough matters? So your results in the gym are directly tied to how close you push your muscles towards their limits. If you're not adding enough mechanical tension and stimulus onto your muscles in the gym, they are not going to adapt and grow. Full stop, end of story. See the people who are going to the gym consistently and not seeing any results. It's because their training performance and their program sucks. And on the other vice of that though, training hard enough doesn't mean destroying yourself every single workout. It's not about how many calories you burn. It's not about how sweaty you get. And it's not about how sore you are. But it does mean you need to be applying the right amount of challenge consistently and performing your exercises beautifully. So if you are never getting close enough to your limit, your body just won't need to adapt, grow, and get stronger. Like if I made you read the same book over and over and over and over and over again for years and years and years, you're not going to learn anything from it. But if I made you read different books, learn new skills, you go through the year. Imagine if you just did year 5 at school over and over again for the rest of your life. You're never going to get any smarter. That your body is exactly the same. And then on the same vice, if you go out all the time and you risk burning out, risk injuring yourself, so that you need to find the balancing spot. It's like, we're not going to make you do year 5 at school over and over again. And I'm also not going to put you in year 12 level 2 advanced maths on your first day. And if you try and do that all the time without learning the fundamentals and building up to it, then you're going to fail at school, right? So it's the balancing act. So you don't want to go out all the time. You don't want to be sweating, focusing on sweating, focusing on calorie burn, trying to red line at every single training session, because then you're just going to risk burning out and injuring yourself. So we need to find this magic sweet spot. Now, there are 2 different ways that you can actually measure your, formally measure how hard you're pushing yourself. And so one tool is the RPE scale, the rate of perceived exertion. To be honest, this one's a little bit better for more endurance and cardio type exercises, but basically it's like, how hard did that feel? And so, 10 RPE of 10 is all out max effort. If you're doing cardio, it's you can't even say words. You're dead. I don't know why I was trying to portray that in a podcast. You know what it is. 10 out of 10 is gassed out 10-second effort sprints, can't do anything more. 8 or 9 is still very, very intense, but you can maybe string a few words together. 7's you can say a little bit, but it's, sentences are hard. And then as it goes down, RPE of 1 would be chilling. So that is one kind of way to look at it. If you wanted to do that RPE with training, for example, warming up would be RPE 1 to 4, RPE 5 to 7 is it's challenging-ish. You can feel the muscles working, but it's very manageable. 8 to 9 is you've got 1 or 2 reps left in the tank and you're oh God, that was so hard. My technique started to break down. Maybe I literally could have pushed 1 or 2 out and then I would have failed. That is where we want to be. That is the sweet spot for muscle growth. And then RPE 10 is all out max effort. Sometimes you can do it on your last set of an exercise, go for it. You're on the leg press, go push yourself to absolute failure. What's the worst that happens? You set the thing down on the stoppers, it's fine. So sometimes RPE 10 is got its place, but realistically RPE of 8 or 9 is ideal for training. But if you always feel your sets are 5 or below, you're cruising, or if you feel you're always at a 10 out of 10, you're overdoing it, the growth zone really is in that 7 to 9 range. Now that's RPE up to 10, right? Now let's flip it, reps in reserve. So this is another way, and this is the way I do prefer to track your intensity in your training session. So repetitions in reserve. How many more repetitions could I have done with good form or before I physically failed? So an RPE of 10 is equivalent to a rep in reserve of 0. meaning you have no more reps in the tank. You literally failed the exercise. Think that you're doing a shoulder press and you go to push the dumbbells up and you literally can't push them up. They fail. You cannot do it. That would be a reps in reserve of 0. If you did a bicep curl and then you started to jump up and down in order to get the exercise finished, then I would say technical failure, stop the set there. It's just you're not doing it right anymore. And so what we really want to try and do is work within 1 to 2, maybe 3 reps in reserve, depending on the exercise and depending on your training experience. The more advanced you are, the more you can go 1 to 2 reps in reserve, and the less experienced that you are, the more 2 to 3 reps in reserve. If you're having a deload week, you might go 4 to 5 reps in reserve. But for building muscle, you really want to try and finish with 1 to 3 reps left in the tank. So if you've got 5, 6 or more, or if you and you know, a lot of people are like, yeah, that was really hard, I went to failure. And I'm like, yeah, really, if someone yelled in your ear, you probably could have done like another 10. You'd be so surprised how many more repetitions you can do when you're actually pushed properly, because your mind is going to tell you to stop well before your body actually needs to stop. So there are some signs that we can use, and I'm going to talk about that in a sec, to help identify if you actually did push yourself hard, or if you've been a bit of a weak dog and just like, it's burning, I'm going to stop it now. Because if you just keep stopping when it's burning and not when you actually failed, you're leaving a lot of potential on the table. But why not just go to absolute failure every single set then? Because there is some scientific evidence to show that you will get just as good muscle gains by going 1 to 2 reps left in reserve as if you went to 0 reps in reserve, but it's way harder to recover when you hit 0 reps in reserve than it is from that 1 rep. So you will be able to actually do more volume if you do 1 to 2 reps in reserve across the workout and across the week than if you keep going 0 reps in reserve, push yourself to absolute failure, red line it, because it's just kind of risking you not recovering properly. So it's just like pull it back that 1 rep and you're going to recover, you're going to be able to do more, and then you can actually get more stimulus over the week. So then you actually eventually will get better results because you're less likely to get injured, less likely to burn out, things like that as well. So what training hard enough actually feels like? How do you know if you're in the right zone? So a few signs and symptoms. 1, you can feel your muscles working, they're burning, you're feeling that mind-muscle connection, you're getting breathless. Some exercises, obviously, you're not going to get as breathless as others. Lateral raises, you're probably not going to get super gassed out compared to deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, squats, hack squat, leg press. You're going to like black out sometimes. I sometimes get very breathless on my squatting exercises. So it does depend, but you're going to get a bit breathless. Your muscles are going to be burning. You're going to be feeling them. Those last 2 or 3 reps of the set, you're going to like really need to lock in and be like, come on, girl. Sometimes you might have to do a bit of self-talk, like, come on, one more. Come on, one more. You got it. Nope, you can do one more. Come on, one more. Sometimes you need to push yourself in that sort of phase. And then you will also notice the concentric phase, which is the pushing part or the action part of the exercise. So in a squat, it's the part where you're standing up. In a deadlift, it's the part where you're pulling the bar up. In a lat pull down, the phase where you're pulling the bar down. In a shoulder press or a bench press, it's when you're pushing the weight away from you. So the action part, the concentric phase, the lifting part, it will naturally slow down. So in the first couple of repetitions, it might take you 1 to 1.5 seconds to complete the repetition, depending on how long your limbs are, 1 to 2 seconds, right? As you're grinding and on those last couple of reps, they should take much longer. They could take 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5. They could even take 6 to 8 seconds, depending on the exercise. So that action part of the exercise, if your repetitions are just the same speed as the first repetition, as the last repetition, you have not gone to failure. You need to keep going. Those last couple of reps should be slow, grinded out. Oh my God, I didn't think I was going to make it sort of exercise. You know, sometimes you see those repetitions where you're like, do I need to step in and help this person, or are they just going to keep grinding it out? That is good. That means you have actually pushed yourself to failure. And then another one is that over time you notice progress. You're lifting heavier, you're getting more repetitions, or you're performing the same weight but with better range of motion, better core control, and it just feels better in itself as well. And if none of those things are happening, chances are you are not training hard enough. So here are some practical tips that you can take away so you can improve your training right now. 1, push yourself. Stop being a little wuss. Do another couple of reps. I guarantee you will always be able to do a couple more reps, but then you can leave 1 or 2 in the tank. But honestly, if you go with the mindset of pushing to failure, you're likely going to just leave 1 or 2 reps in the tank naturally because of the way that your brain will try and stop you. The other thing you need to do is track your workouts. Stop winging it. Have a training program that's structured, that you actually can measure progress, and it's well balanced so that you actually hit all the muscle groups in your body, like yada, 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 all that, performed well, full range of motion, good control, all that jazz. But track your workouts, your repetitions and your weight, so that if they're not going up, if your weight or your repetitions are not going up in like most of your exercises, you are not progressing, you are not pushing yourself hard enough. And yes, some exercises you're just going to hit a wall with, like lateral raises, you're just going to hit a point where you're not going to keep progressing all the time. That just is inevitable. Another strategy is you can film your exercises, film your sets. This is huge, because then you can actually see, okay, look how speedy my first couple of reps are, look how slow my last couple of reps are. And you can look at your last 1 or 2 reps and you'll look at it and go, oh dang, I actually had a couple more. I can really see the difference there. You will look back and be like, I really thought I hit failure there, but no, it looked really easy. I think I had a couple more reps left in the tank. I'll know that for next time. And so progressive overload, little by little, week by week, aim to do a little bit more, whether it's more reps, more weight, better form, and push yourself. Comfort doesn't create change. Challenge does. This shit is meant to be hard. So final notes, training hard isn't about annihilating yourself completely. It's not about how many calories you burn. It's not about how sweaty you get. It's not about how sore you are. It's about consistently pushing yourself close to your limits, so then your body has no choice but to adapt. But you need to make sure then you also give it time to recover, and then you come back in and you push it hard again. So next time you're in the gym, check yourself, count your reps in reserve, watch your speed of your movements, and film your sets, track your progress, and see if you're actually pushing yourself into that growth zone. And so if you found this helpful, make sure you share this on your Instagram. Come let me know how your training sessions are going. And if you want a sample training program that's actually designed for success to build you a strong, hot, toned bikini body, then message me on Instagram, training program, and I will send you through a sample training program. So at least you have a good structured program to start with, and then it's up to you to actually start performing it properly. But let's start getting some results, ladies. Thanks so much for listening. If you found this episode valuable, please rate, review, and subscribe. And I'd love if you shared this on your Instagram and tag me, Sammy_Livestrong. And if you'd like to learn more about my coaching and join the Project Livestrong family, please message me, Livestrong, on Instagram, and I'll see how I can help. I'll see you next time.